And
Mike?
Mike Gagnon, I'm here with the great and powerful Adam Dow. We had the opportunity this morning to attend the Lakes Region Board of Realtors brokers meeting, and I thought it was pretty interesting because we got some legislative updates, things that I kind of didn't really know about. And so Adam and I wanted to just have a quick conversation about that.
Yep. Yeah, we got this handy handout on what's coming down the pike. One of the things that the Realtor organization does is look at every single law. I think they had a printout of 1,300 laws that they're paying attention to, they feel strongly about, or they're just watching,
All right.
or they're ignoring. And so and it's tough for an organization like ours. We're very politically divided as a nation,
That's fair.
but as realtors, we want to make sure that property owner rights, dream of home ownership, things like that get protected. So we have to go into these with, all right, how does it affect home ownership? How does it affect the economy? How does it affect different classes of people and things like that? So it's a fine line that they walk, and I think they do it very well.
I tend to agree. And that was one of the things that I found very interesting because a lot of times we don't even understand what the realtor associations do for us, the from a local level to a state level to a national level. And this kind of brought into focus for me at least. And one of the one of the bills that they were talking about kind of floored me a little bit. And I think Adam and I had a chance to talk about it before we sat down here, but it had the thrust of it was if you're going to have a second home in New Hampshire over $500,000, then you're going to get taxed double, basically.
Yeah, and I don't know if we know the specifics on the numbers. I've heard a million, and I've heard a couple different things.
Okay.
But for me, I've been in New Hampshire all my life, 9 generations in the area. So I look at a lot of these things through the filter of me growing up here, my kids wanting to buy here, all of these different things, and luckily for us, my grandparents in the '60s bought a house on an island, right?
Nice.
I think it was $17,000 and it came with a boat, right? So, but now it would come in that category, and not everybody in my family can, afford the taxes now.
Right.
So it's a second home. It's sometimes we'll rent it out just to get some money in for the family to maintain the property and things like that. So, you look at the surface of some of these things that, oh, let's tax the rich people,
Mm-hmm.
or all of these things, but it just trickles down through, and sometimes it hurts the local people more than it'll hurt the rest of the folks.
No, no, exactly right. What's that? The law of unintended
Yeah.
consequences, right? And I think that's one of the most interesting things about most of the conversation that we had today was I could almost argue both sides of most of these things.
Well, and that's the problem with what's going on right now is, not everybody's wrong and not everybody's right. The right answer is in the middle,
Right.
but we've basically said, all right, I'm absolutely right and you're absolutely wrong, and vice versa. Where some of the stuff like accessory dwelling units, all of the stuff that we talked about today does have relevance, it does have importance, but we just have to figure out what's the right way to implement.
I tend to agree with you 100% on that because you know, from 50,000 feet, everybody looks like an ant. But once you get down on the ground and you understand how these policies are affecting people individually, you're perfect example about your family, right? Like I probably wouldn't have thought of that. I would have been like you said, tax these rich folks. They got plenty of money. Let's not worry about it.
Yeah.
But this is like a sweeping effect. It's not just a rifle shot at one particular financial demographic. It's everybody that would have that second home.
Well, and luckily for us, we both grew up here, so we have the lens of, all right, how does it affect both us as people that have been around for a while, have families here, we live here by choice, but also affect our buyers coming in, and so I was just looking at the Class 6 roads they were talking about.
That was an interesting one.
Yeah, I'm in. Great. I mean, sometimes people don't mind living down a dirt road as long as they understand that they have to maintain it and things like that. So we have a problem with supply.
Mhm.
So what's a good way to open up supply is to, let people build on roads that are already there. They're just not as good as some other roads.
Sure. No, I know we want to talk about the laws, but as we were talking, something else, the law of unintended consequences came up. There was something that they discussed this morning that I think is particularly relevant and interesting. It had to do with the appraisals
Yep.
that were coming in,
Yep.
and the gentleman from Meredith Village Savings
Yep.
told this story about a like a multi-million dollar property, and because of the size of the loan, they had to get two appraisals, and they said that they had two appraisers came in, and the two appraisals came back about a $900,000 delta between the two, and when they looked at them, they were both right.
Correct.
Right. So that's, I guess that I'm equating that to what we just talked about, where we look at this bill and we can say, oh, this is okay because of this, and then look at it and they, oh no, this is wrong because of this, but both people are actually right.
Yeah, and that's the problem with the divided country that we have in state and towns and things like that, is everyone gets their heels dug in and can't see the other side.
I think that part of it is we make a sport out of this, right? Like I won, I feel better
Well, the
because
best place to solve problems is on Facebook. So you just get out there and do keyboard warriors
right.
and say, all right, let's make everyone believe me.
Fair point. Fair, fair, fair point. Well, I do want to say that we will link these laws in the comments below. So if you're interested to know kind of what we discussed this morning and some of the other things coming down the pipe, this link will be here.
And for you that do own waterfront, there's a new huge change in the boathouse law, what you can and can't do, which came out of left field for me. I hadn't been paying attention to it, but pretty cool thing. So give us a call if you have some more questions about that.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate your time, Adam.
All right, no problem.
Thank you.
Happy to be on.